We're on the Front Range here in Montana, and it's August, and me, Calvin, and Fred headed up north today to do some fishing. A little bit different than what we normally do, but we found this spot. This is a place that has a bunch of different lakes, and pretty much the only species in here is carp.
This is a wildlife refuge that's really well known for waterfowl, but these shallow lakes and ponds out here are full, absolutely full of carp. So we brought out Sam's new towy skiff. We were hoping we could pull around and get onto some carp, but the Rocky Mountain front kicked up the wind today, which we didn't really expect was gonna happen. It's been dead calm the last couple days while we were fishing the mow.
We're not gonna get exactly the game plan we wanted, and that's, I would say, it's pretty common with the Front Range being right behind us. The whole thing, I don't think, gets much more than 10 or 15 feet deep, so you can basically walk wade just like a flat, like you're in fishing for redfish in Texas. But we are catching a few fish and seeing some tails, and we'll see what we can find.
Usually I come to Montana to float in a drift boat and catch trout and have a good time and fish in Missouri or any other river, but out here it was like, I mean, watching fish tail, I was just kind of mind-blowing, because literally, like, you would look out there on the flat I call it, sorry, it's probably mud flat, but you'd see these big tails just twitching. I mean, look just like redfish or giant bonefish. It was crazy. Yeah, it was interesting too, seeing like the different types of fish, because there were fish that were like in deeper water, like knee-deep water, but they were just on the surface, and their like mouths were out, just kind of doing that. And I had one, so I saw like 4 or 5 of those, so I switched to a floating, like a booby fly basically, and one ate it right away, just came up to it and sucked it down. And then you would see those fish like with the backs out of the water. Those were really hard to catch. And then once you found like the fish actually, like you could totally see the mud line, like light to dark, and then at the head of the mud line you'd see the tail come up and then go down.
I do think that's the super cool thing about this spot, all the fish tail.
Yeah, oh, yeah. It's insane.
Like most of the carp fishing people do, they see them, or their
tails are like...
But this is straight up all tailing fish.
Yeah. And lots of these carp are like 30-inch fish.
Yeah, they were big. They were bigger than I expected.
We found carp on the outside, but the wind was going strong. The water was really stirred up with silt from the wind, because this is a really shallow, silty body of water. But now it's starting to warm up, and so on this leeward side of the point, the water's getting a little clearer. It's starting to warm up, and so some of those carp are starting to filter around in here. And I spotted one that was just literally sunning himself, and dabbed him up with the fly, and away it went. So got one. We're gonna keep hunting for more.
My best eat today was in the shallow water, because I cast to like 20 or 30 of those fish after. So we walk up, Sam and I are fishing these few fish. We look over at Fred, and it looks like the shore is rocky. So their backs are out of the water, and they're kind of moving super slow or just sitting still. So after you guys kind of walked back to the truck and I was fishing those tailing fish, I was walking back, and there was one carp. I was watching him, like his back was out of the water. He's in like, you know, that much water. He would go swim, he'd stop, and then he'd almost, it looked like he would back up, but it was probably him just trying to tip up. It looked like he went back, and after about the 3rd time, I finally got a cast to him, laid it out there. The water's super shallow, so he's an unweighted fly. Put it right on his nose, and he like swam to it. So I thought he swam over it, but then he stopped, and he tipped up for a second, and then I saw his tail do one of these, and I just started to pull, and it was like tight, and I set the hook, and he just went, like his back was out of the water, and was like, just, it was so cool.
Oh yeah. Black with an orange bead.
On the flies, like the first couple times I came out here, I was not catching them. But for sure, there's tons of damsels and dragonflies all around. So switched to all damsels today. It seemed to work way better. Damsel nymphs and like dark colored ones in this cloudy water. Well, we finally did find that bit of clear water too. Like a lot of the fish we were fishing was super muddy and windy today. So you had to really feed the fish. But that one clear spot, we finally did get a fly on a clear fish. Like it just one kick of the tail,
Ate it.
they'll chase the fly down just like a redfish. That's cool. It's just cool to catch a fish and go way deep into your backing.
Yeah,
and it's quite a while before you see your fly line.
Yeah.
That has been a while for me, so that was cool.
Got him.
But I had a long taper on it, and that was awesome. And I switched. Actually, I caught a fish. My favorite fish was on line. I didn't think was very good.
Yeah.
But I had the Saga samples, and then I had that regular Rio trout line, which is pretty aggressive front taper. That just felt like every time the fly, it just plopped way too hard. So I think that long taper's key, or something like that ballistic taper that we were fishing last night. I fish that all the time for carp. The ballistic taper.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Olive green.
That one lands super soft.
We fished out there for a while, and we didn't. I mean, I guess there was a couple of hookups, but it just wasn't ideal. And we're like, we need to find some clear, calmer water. And it was also warming up, and I knew on the leeward side when we walked up and we'd seen a carp, I know as it warms up, there's going to be some filtering back into that corner. And so I start walking down, and I'm looking straight down the lee side where it just glassed out, and I saw back real close to shore. And so I'm just like, you're mine. And I walked all the way down and quartered out, and I literally just short little flip cast, and I could see the fly, and I drug it right by his nose, and got it.
I so badly wanted to get the two boats out there, explore some of the different spots that I haven't been able to get to on foot.
Dead flat,
clear
water,
pull Calvin Fred around on the skiff, and get those long shots at carp that we could see, 68, 70 feet away. But we made the best of it, and it turned out great. It's fun. Which one do you like better? Which day did you like better, Kellen?
It's tough. I would go trout fishing again. It's hard to beat
if it's that good.
Yeah, if it's that good. I've had some terrible days on the Missouri, but when you got fish up that are eating and you can anchor on them and set up, and if you have somebody that makes a good cast, you can
but
feed them.
We had best case scenario trout fishing. What if we had best case scenario here? Like skiff, dead calm,
Ugh.
clear water,
Well, you know, the good news is
tailing fish everywhere.
I would do this in the morning, and then I would go to the Missouri at 5 o'clock in the evening.
I can agree with that.